Well, Disney had a shareholders meeting, and they said we get lots of money for the parks. I hope that's going to happen. Tiana, we have Tiana updates again. Finally, some animatronics. A lot of new stuff happening all tonight on ParksCenter. Welcome to ParksCenter for February 18th, 2024. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys, as always. We really appreciate it when you join us on a Sunday night. So if you have not already, please subscribe to WDWNT TV for more great content. And, of course, hit that thumbs up so it helps people to find us. And if you didn't hear it, Desi's in the background moving furniture. So we got Desi. How are you, Desi? Oh, and now she mutes. Okay, cool.
No.
Womp womp. Did you mute? Okay. Shannon. Hi. Hey, Shannon.
Hello. I hope everyone has their seatbelts buckled low and tight across their lap because it is going to be a bumpy show.
Please pull on that yellow cord now. And we've got Desi. Are you there?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we got her.
Yay.
Yep. And she's rolling VIP. She got her VIP pin on, and we'll, I'm sure, talk about that at some point. And back again, Mr. Cosmic Chris Reed. What's going on, fella?
It is so nice to be back. I love looking at the chat and seeing everyone that I haven't seen for a long time. It's great to be back on the panel, and I'm excited for the next hour.
The next 60 minutes, we are going to be giving you guys the latest in Disney news over the past 2 weeks. We took last week off. I don't know if you knew there was a big football game, and we didn't want to get in the way.
There was.
Yeah. So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Before we get started, this is your line here, Shannon. Are you ready? We got a super chat. Get ready. Get ready. Nobody dances it out like Shannon. Jungle Cruiser has a super chat for us. Have a new segment idea. Things heard in the parks. Here's what I heard at Disneyland yesterday. Mom to older son: if younger brother doesn't come here, I'm going to kick him in the face. Got more if you like. Wow. Okay.
Oh my
Getting
gosh.
aggressive out on the West Coast, fella.
Country bear
I mean, I've heard a lot of
style.
crazy things, but I'm not sure I've heard "I'm going to kick you in the face" from a mom. I mean, that's just not great parenting. But I appreciate we appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, Jungle Cruiser, for the super chat, and thank you guys for being with us tonight. First thing we want to talk about is tomorrow is President's Day here. Reed, let me explain this to you. In America, we have President's Day. I know you're up in Canada, but we have President's Day. And apparently during President's Day weekend, everybody goes to Orlando. Apparently is how that happens. I know that I saw some updates from our sister site, Universal Parks News Today, where Annie goes in and was like, "Why am I here? What's going on? Why are these people here? What's with the lines?" So I assume usually people avoid the 3-day weekends, but starting on Friday, the multiple parks option was sold out ahead of a very busy President's Weekend. And if you are a Walt Disney annual pass holder, you were blocked out for Friday. But here's the weird thing, and Desi, I'm going to talk to you about this because you are an annual pass holder and also a member of the VIP club, clearly. But like, do you avoid 3-day weekends when it comes to going to the parks just because you know it's going to be like crazy nuts?
Yeah, just because I know it's going to be a madhouse. I mean, we're sitting around today thinking about what are we going to do with the kids. Maybe we'll go to like the Aviation Museum in Lakeland, which is halfway between Tampa and Orlando. And he's like, "Oh, well, if we were going to do that, we might as well go to Disney." I'm like, we don't want to go to Disney today. Like, it is crazy. It's a holiday weekend. It's a hard no for me anytime it's a long weekend or a holiday.
It's a no for me, dog. All right. So also looking at next week, there are some good to go days, Desi. So look into that, please. Actually, 2 weeks from now, some good to go at the end of the month. So, and which is surprising to me since the 28th is when we start, I believe, the Flower and Garden Festival, which we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, I mean, but Shannon, I know that you are you have to travel when you go to Disney. Do you usually pick a 3-day
Mm-hmm.
weekend to go, or do you purposely avoid it because of the crowds like
No.
this?
Yeah, no, I avoid it. Number one. Number two, as we were talking about before, I don't get these holidays off, so it really makes no difference to me. And I would recommend, as you can see, unless you absolutely have to, I would not recommend going on these weekends. Sounds like a good deal, but it's not.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic. I'm not going to even ask you, Reed, because I know that you have to
What you
plan
know?
a
What
special week.
I want to jump in with one quick thought. So
Okay.
today, earlier today, I lived like an hour above the border, like in Canada. So we went to North Dakota today. North Dakota. We waited 90 minutes to get through the border at North Dakota. So if that was the line for North Dakota, I don't want to see what the lines are for Walt Disney World or any of the theme parks in the Orlando area. There you go.
Boom.
That's something. I will tell you though that North Dakota, I'm sure is great. It is not usually high on my priority list, but I'm glad you got to
Yeah.
go. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's the closest thing we got.
Yeah,
It's the
things are
closest
so
state
bad
we
in
got.
Canada. We're going to North Dakota.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about capacity because I wanted to talk about the crowds first to kind of come into this conversation that happened at the shareholders meeting. One of the things, well, no, that's not what I want to say. Let's go back out of that. So let's start with this. So one of the things, first of all, is there was a shareholders meeting. They made a lot of announcements. There were a lot of things that happened last time in the last call about movies and things. But one of the things they talked about here is that Fortnite was going to be. They're partnering with Fortnite. They're spending 1.5 billion in investment, and the only reason I bring this up because it's not really parks specific is that they're building sort of a virtual Magic Kingdom inside of Fortnite. So I feel like, Reed, are you a gamer at all?
A little bit. You know what? I'm really getting into virtual reality right now. And
Gotcha.
I see this as like maybe some sort of one day we'll get some sort of virtual Disney World in VR or mixed reality as they're doing now too. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they came a little late to this party, but I mean, Fortnite is still pretty huge, obviously. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's exciting. Although it is funny that Epic, Universal, called them out for this. Oh, they're like Epic, huh? Because obviously, Epic Universe is a thing that's happening. So they're trying to like I don't know copyright that term. Anyway, let's talk about the fact that the parks made 6.3 billion in revenue domestically. So they just reported that part. I think it was about 9 billion overall, but domestically 6.3 billion. And one of the things that Bob said in the call was that every one of our theme parks was profitable. As I've said before, we also have so many untapped stories just waiting to be brought to life in our parks. And that warms the cockles of your heart when he says that because you're like, yeah, Bob, let's bring those stories to life. And so then the next thing is 70% of that 60 billion that they said they were going to invest is going to increase capacity. This is a thing that is driving me nuts because again, we talk about the crowds is that they keep building hotels. They're building more and more hotels all the time and we still have the same 4 theme parks. Like in the 80s we had Epcot and Magic Kingdom, and there were like 4 hotels, and then Eisner comes in and has the Disney Decade where he builds Hollywood Studios and MGM Studios at the time, and they add a whole bunch more hotels, but like Riviera, Pop Century, Saratoga Springs, which was a renovation, Bay Lake Tower, Art of Animation. The Four Seasons Resort that came in there, the bungalows and the cabins and Grand Destino Tower, all of these things have happened after our 4th park was built. So we're building more and more and more rooms, but we're not building any place for these people to go. And it's kind of crazy. So, I've thrown out there since I've been with the network, the idea of a 5th gate, and everybody's like, no, they have to fix the parks that they're doing right now. And then here comes Epic Universe with their new park and Universal. And they're like, oh, no, we're not going to answer to that. We need to get these parks right. But I feel like everything they do is almost decreasing capacity we'll talk about water parks in a second. They haven't had both water parks open since COVID happened, so they just swapped them out. That seems like that would be some capacity right there. And then you've also got the fact that Tiana's coming, but that was something that was an attraction that's been down for a long period of time. Even the lands, the expansions like Fantasyland Forest, there were attractions there. So I want to throw this to you, Shannon. I hope you have some stuff to say about this, because I love the idea and the concept, but this is $42 billion over the next 60 years, no, 60 years, over the next 10 years. And it's not all earmarked for Disneyland and Disney World. It's just parks capacity.
Yeah, I am also on Team Fifth Gate. I know it is an unpopular opinion, and many people say that it's never going to happen, but I think that they need it. And as exciting as it is to build onto Magic Kingdom and to build onto these existing parks, I agree that like Epcot can kind of be a half-day park at times. Hollywood Studios, definite half-day park. Animal Kingdom is half-day park for a lot of people. So you definitely need to expand there. But in my opinion, one land or one ride isn't enough to get some people out of bed in the morning. I don't think people are jumping at the bit to book a trip for Tron Light Cycle Run. So if you do a Fifth Gate, I think that is very impactful. I mean, look at the excitement for Epic Universe. I don't even care about Universal. I don't even care about some of the IPs going in Epic Universe, but it's just the thrill of an entire new giant theme park to explore. So I really hope that is at least on the table. I know it's a long shot, but here's to hoping.
Yeah, I mean, it is a long shot indeed. Again, from the very beginning of the crowds, and you look at Universal Studios, they claim that they have 3 parks already because of Volcano Bay, which means, okay, Disney World has 6 parks, and it's still not enough because they're bursting at the seams. Even these like paid things like the like Genie Plus are going so quickly, and you almost have to get them so that you can navigate the park, so that you can get the most out of your experience while you're there. It's just it's insane, the amount of people that are there. And I think that after COVID, we thought, well, this is just, I think people were calling it like revenge travel. Like, we can't really leave the country yet, and we want to get out of our house because we've been locked down for so long. We're going to go to Disney parks, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. I mean, again, going back to you, Desi, you guys are close enough to drive to go there, but I mean, usually you go on a weekend, right? And aren't they usually kind of jam-packed?
Yeah. Yes. I will say, though, I went on my VIP tour on a Wednesday, just because we figured it would be a great time to go and get the most out of our time. And while I was on the tour, the guide told us that the VIP tours have more than doubled in demand since before COVID, I guess because part of it is people don't want to wait in lines, and people don't want to have to deal with trying to figure out everything you have to figure out for Genie Plus and this and that individual lightning lane. And it's just easier to just have somebody do it for you and just do it that way. So I thought that was pretty interesting that, the VIP tours have more than doubled how many VIP tours they're giving out since before COVID.
Well, yeah, everybody's trying to find their way around the system because, again, if you have a limited amount of time but you have the money, you're going to buy Genie Plus, buy the paid Lightning Lane, which, by the way, I still think they need to call them Lightning Lane and Lightning Lane Plus, not Genie Plus with Lightning Lane, and then also the ones you have to pay extra for. I mean, it seems like such an easy thing to try to separate them that way.
Stop making sense, Rob.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Do they make more money because of the way that is? I have no idea. Because you get the kids and you get them up to the front of Rise of the Resistance, and you're like, hey, I got my Genie Plus. They're like, nah. This is Lightning Pass or Lightning Lane Ultimate. You only have Plus. We have Ultimate over here. You need to be able to upgrade. You need the black card to get into this one. So I'm looking through the chat. David Lung says, rich people don't want to wait in line. Duh. I mean, poor people don't either. Just putting that out there. So anyway, but again, we hope that all this money is going towards these parks here. Obviously, some of it's going overseas, but he is saying that they're looking to increase the capacity of the park. I still don't think that's the visions we've seen so far. I don't think that is the the redo of Dinoland, because again, you're going to take down attractions for a while and lower your capacity at Dinoland if you're redoing it.
Are you?
Who's there anyway?
I mean,
are you
yeah,
really taking
you
away
don't-
that much capacity by shutting down Dinoland?
You don't even know what kind of a people eater that Triceratops spin is. It is crazy how many people get entertained by that. But I mean, you're going to take that down, and then at the same time, the stuff that's going to be on the backside of Big Thunder, all of that, and the Avengers e-ticket that they're talking about in California, none of that has a shovel hit the ground yet. So even if those are happening, they're not happening for a while. So let's just hope that the crowds are in check and we can have a good time when we get there. So let's move on to A Tale of Two Tianas. So Shannon and I were talking about this a little bit before the show, and she goes, you know what? I feel like this is like Tron and like anything else that we've talked about,
Pixar
like
Place Hotel.
Pixar Place Hotel, exactly. Where she's like, we've talked about it so much, and I said I do try not to talk about the Tiana's Bayou Adventure too much, but it's one of those things where they took down Splash Mountain in January of 2023 at Magic Kingdom, May of 2023 at Disneyland, and that's an e-ticket attraction that has not been helping out the capacity issues at all, that always had long lines. It wasn't like something that people wouldn't miss, and so they've been working on just retheming that to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We've gotten a lot of little teases about what was going to happen, but finally this week we got that they have a look for us at the Tiana animatronic, and it looks pretty amazing. Here's a little video that they showed us on the Disney Parks TikTok of the Imagineer walking us through what the animatronic looks like, and it's definitely a very cool animatronic. I'm very excited that they're going to do animatronics. Tom and I just did a Deep in the Plus last Wednesday about Pirates of the Caribbean, and there were so many animatronics there, and it seems like these days animatronics are hard to come by. They didn't happen at all in Cosmic Rewind. It's awesome that they're doing this instead of projections, which is what we were fearing they would do. As long as they're plussing this out, this should be pretty exciting. But they announced this on Fat Tuesday, which I thought was brilliant that they do that, because it's Nolans, it's Bayou, it's awesome. They also updated the walls at the one in Disney in Magic Kingdom with this mural that was already at Disneyland. And then they've also started taking down some of the scaffolding. And then they're testing the water. So we're like, okay, it's getting pretty close. They announced opening summer of 2024. So that's pretty exciting, but I wish it was a date, but at least we have a season. And then over in Disneyland, they're just now starting to put holes in walls and put more scaffolding up. And so that one's not coming until later in 2024. So Shannon, I think you have some thoughts on this one as well. Are you excited about the animatronic, or is it just not enough for you yet?
Listen, you have to give credit where credit is due, and we have to be thankful that this is an animatronic. It's a great animatronic, and we don't get those screen faces that are so horrific in the Frozen attraction. Now, with that being said, I saw a lot of critiques over this not looking like Tiana, and a lot of people were saying it was her face. I don't think it's her face. I think, what is her hairstyle? Number one. Number two, what is this outfit? I hate this pantsuit, whatever it is. And I catch myself thinking, oh, wait, well, she's wearing that because it's adventure, because she's in Adventureland. No, she's not in Adventureland. She's in Frontierland. So everything is confusing to me. I don't like it at all. And it just makes me upset that they're not sticking to the movie. So,
well, you know what? The pivotal scene in Princess and the Frog was when they go over the waterfall. So I think we all remember that one. So I think it would be great. Right. No? Nobody? Okay, cool. Honestly, I mean, it's one of those where I prefer to see the story. You want to see, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Then is like, you want to see the Shadow Man, and I want to hear, "Are you ready?" as I'm going up the hill. I mean, that's the kind of stuff. Ree will go extra innings on this one. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, you know what? I remember probably over 10 years ago thinking one day this could be a ride. I'm probably right when Princess and the Frog came out, that it could be like a Princess and the Frog attraction, and here we are. I always saw like the Laughing Place as like Facilier's, I don't know, lair with like the cool shadows on the wall and stuff like that. It's too bad we're not getting that store. We're getting something new. But if you Google Princess Tiana, the only outfits that she's wearing on a whole Google search is like her princess dress and I think like the waitress outfit. This one is right here on the screen is brand new. I wasn't a fan of it, but I mean, like the way she moves and the face and all that, it's beautiful. I love that. I love these like updated, like more modern animatronics and the way they flow. The outfit's unfortunate, but maybe that's only the first one, and we're gonna get a better looking outfit in the finale of the attraction. But I'm really excited. I think the outside, the exterior of it looks great. It's cool. It looks like a new attraction, even though it's not. I'm excited.
Cosmic Chris Reed's Fashion Corner, brought to you by. She's gonna have costume changes. It's gonna be like a sort of like a Cher Beyonce situation where every scene.
It's a runway, right? Is it? Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we need to see here. I don't know. We like all things, we will hold out hope that they will do this justice and it will be amazing. But I think the animatronic looks great. I'm with you guys that I think that it should have been the original story and not necessarily this retelling. Yeah. And it seems like right now it seems a little odd, this whole like, okay, she had her dream to make this restaurant, but now she's like working in the food packing industry. I don't know. Let's move on to talk about the next festival. The sun never sets on a Disney festival, by the way. The Flower and Garden Festival is kicking off on February 28th. We've talked about, I think most of us are huge fans of the Festival of the Arts. That's ending tomorrow, I believe is the last day for that. Then we'll be festival-less for like a week and a half, and then we start into the Flower and Garden Festival. So already we've gotten some teases here about food for the International Flower and Garden Festival. The menus are available. There's a new booth that they're building over in that flex space next to Imagination. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. The topiaries, they've rolled those out. So we have previews of what the topiaries look like. And then they've got these two new kiosks that were added to the World Celebration Gardens at Epcot. We think that these have something to do with the Flower and Garden Festival because the Communicore Hall, which we'll talk about in a minute, is not ready yet. So I don't know what they're going to be. I kind of feel like they could just be, this is an area where we used to have this huge pin trading area, and now we don't anymore. Why couldn't these be like pin booths? I don't know. Desi, what are your thoughts on the Flower and Garden Festival? Are you a fan? Obviously, again, FOTA is the best fest.
I mean, my favorite festival is Festival of the Arts. My kids' favorite festival is the Flower and Garden Festival. Every time we have gone to Epcot in the past year, they've said, can we go see the butterflies? And I'm like, it's not that festival. It's a different festival now. But no, they keep asking about the butterflies. So I guess my kids are super excited for it. I kind of feel like those kiosks look a whole lot like the DVC kiosks I see in other parks. I'm not confident that that's going to be serving any kind of food or merchandise. It looks like a DVC kiosk to me.
I think merchandise, though. That's where it may be festival
maybe one of them will be merchandise. One of them will be a DVC.
The other one will have an agent standing by to help you with your vacation, your vacation planning and owning a piece of the
That's
magic.
What I think. Maybe guest services.
Yeah, well,
in place of those blue umbrellas.
So here's another thing. There's always music. The Garden Rocks is coming, and there are a lot of the usual suspects like the Commodores and Rick Springfield are in here. There's a lot of them in here that I'm really not sure that I'm familiar with. So, Reed, could you just like rattle off a couple of your favorite Funka-Field songs real quick for me? Because I'm not really sure.
I absolutely, yeah. You know what? I could, but we would be here all night, Rob. I can't do
wow!
Right
Because you can't pick a favorite. Okay, that's fine.
No.
Can I say last year, Flock of Seagulls did not play Iran?
What?
What?
Why? Why would you even bother coming?
You had one job, Flock of Seagulls. You had one job. I think they've added Sister Hazel. I think that's the first year for Sister Hazel. It's hard to say, but I'm excited. Nobody? Okay, cool. I'm excited about some
Sister
of these.
Hazel. I've been to a Sister Hazel concert.
Herman's Hermits feature starring Peter Noon. Some of these, I think, again, this is just another one of those things that Disney does with these festivals that I think are very cool to see. Shannon, I know that you went for the Festival of the Arts as well. So your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm also still not convinced that there's going to be any food booths in that area, which is very puzzling because when I went to Festival of the Arts, that felt like a lot of wasted space, a lot of seating, and not a lot of food nearby to go sit there. But I like Flower and Garden Festival. I'm happy that it's not going as long as it usually does, or has at least gone for the last 2 or 3 years or so. I think that kind of is what makes a festival special, right? Like Festival of the Arts is very short, but I think that makes it desirable. So I'm excited to see another festival roll through nonetheless.
Another festival rolls through. Honestly, I'm probably going to be there after Festival of the Arts and before Flower and Garden Festival. If you've ever been to all the festivals and then go to Epcot festival lists, it's just like, it's sad. It's like, roaming a mall that used to have, have shops and now it doesn't. It's just so empty. And part of it's kind of cool because it's like, look how expansive this is now. There's no lines coming out of every booth and I can move freely about the park. But it is a little bit sad to see it festival list. A couple other festivals that are happening that I just wanted to kind of make mention of is one of them is that the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival is starting up soon. That runs from March 1st through April 22nd. And then for the very first time ever, the Tokyo Disney Sea Food and Wine Festival is coming. This one,
this is cool. Look at the right there.
Bugles.
The bugles.
I think this food looks amazing. I'm, again, a little jealous. I've said before that I feel like that the food that they do at Food and Wine in California is a little bit more daring than the food that we see in Florida. And so, I mean, I think if that's
okay.
daring, this is like, extreme probably. What did you say? That's okay?
Keep your peanut butter and jelly mac and cheese over in California. We don't need it here.
How dare you? With Pop Rocks. You always forget that part. It has Pop Rocks in it as well.
Oh my God.
Chris Reed said he wouldn't come on the show unless we talked about popcorn buckets. So let's move on to talking about popcorn buckets. This is the one they have at Universal. He's a cutie for sure, but the problem that I have is that since I have a problem, I try to keep to just the Disney family. There's also this really cute straw clip that they did for Valentine's Day with Stitch. Again, we were off for a week or so, so I wanted to make sure to bring that up because our boy Jake loves him some Stitch. But this is the star of the show. This is it. This Chip and Dale popcorn bucket with this Donald Easter egg. Now, the Donald we've seen before with the Christmas tree and the candy corn, but I think this is like next level on this. And I know our friend Jungle Cruiser was in chat talking about them as well. But like, somebody said this out loud, and I think I agree. They were saying, finally, this is sort of Tokyo Disney quality level of popcorn bucket. Does he agree? Disagree?
I think it's adorable. It's still not the Figment popcorn bucket. I'm sorry. I still don't think it's the cutest popcorn bucket I've ever seen. It's cute, but it's not, it's not my favorite popcorn bucket I've ever seen. Also, I'm starting to get a little burnt out on the Donald sippers. When the candy corn when that one came out, I lost my mind. I needed it immediately. Ran out to go get it as soon as I could. So cute, so adorable. And then I see the Christmas tree. I'm like, what the heck? That's just the candy corn. No, you're not getting my money, Disney. And then they do this again with the Easter egg. No, stop trying to take my money for the same sipper.
I agree with you on some of those because the balloons, that's where I'm like, okay, this is a Mickey balloon and it's yellow as opposed to the last one was red or the one before that was blue. I'm with you on that one. With this, I have a little bit more of an issue because it is a little bit of a different design that I have that whole mania in my heart of, well, I have to collect them all because it's the Donald set now, right? It's the candy corn and the Christmas tree and the egg. I want Shannon to tell me that she hates all these things. Will you tell me that? Can you tell me not to buy these things?
Definitely don't buy them. I do struggle with spending that kind of money on popcorn buckets. I have no place to put them. I only have my Toad. He's very special to me. But I'm gonna have to disagree on the Donald though. I didn't like the Christmas tree. The candy corn was amazing, but I love this Easter egg. I really do. I think it's precious, and I kind of agree in that this is starting to match Tokyo, level quality. We've never been a popcorn bucket family, but on a recent trip, my mom saw someone with it was a Tokyo popcorn bucket. She didn't realize it, and she went wild and asked the woman where she got it from. And when the woman said Tokyo, she's like, oh my God. So, yeah, I think this is cute. It's detailed, and I'd like to see more of them. Maybe I will splurge again one day on a popcorn bucket. This isn't it, but maybe one day.
So wait, you have Toad, and it's in the background there. And I know,
Yep.
so Desi, your favorite one is the Journey into Imagination Pavilion, the one that just hit with
Yes.
the Festival of the Arts. Reed, do you
And
have
Toad.
also a popcorn bucket problem? And if so, is it probably a Star Wars popcorn bucket?
It is not, surprisingly. I don't have a popcorn bucket. I think they're cool, but they're not my thing to collect. But the one that you just mentioned, the Imagination Pavilion one, I would be all over that and pay good money for one of those. I think that was super cool, and it really looks cool with the colored rainbow popcorn in there.
So if somebody were to buy you one and send it to you, you would go ahead and get cut them a answering machine message in exchange?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm just
As
trying to
many as
broker
they
this
want
deal.
for a year.
For
It'd be
a
cool
whole
if they
year.
sent it. It'd be cool if they sent it with a whole bunch of Cosmic Read Live stickers or something one day.
You know,
It's okay.
Rocky
The show
knows
ended in
someone.
2022.
it's fine. Look, I'm just a huge fan. That's why I'm keeping all of them to myself. It's fine. We're all going to be okay. I like those. I think they're cute. Let's move on to DVC updates. I'm calling it cabins and condos because we're talking about the cabins and the Polynesian. The wilderness cabins. One of the things that we've seen here is, obviously we have a release date or an opening date of July 1st for them, but they are now showing us some more details of inside a cabin, so we get to see a little bit more of what's happening inside. One of the cool things is they've got the kind of the pull down Murphy bed. But there is a little throw right here to River Country, Disney's version of an old-fashioned swimming hole, which looked like this when it existed. Also had some brain-eating amoebas, which apparently people didn't love, so they went ahead and got rid of that. I think the bunk beds look like a real upgrade from the ones that were there. I know they're not as rustic looking as before. They've got these little drawers underneath, which were cool, and the artwork looks neat. I know that a lot of the fans of Fort Wilderness and the original cabins are very much like, this isn't rustic. This looks like HGTV. Honestly, I kind of like these. So I will read about that in the comments. Then they have announced that DVC and pass holders will be able to start booking these things as of March 19th for the July 1st and beyond. So it's coming. I mean, these are happening. It's too late. It's too late to turn back now. That's a thing that's happening. Also, a thing that's happening is there's more scaffolding and painting happening over here at the towers. The tower at Disney's Polynesian Village. It just rolls right off the tongue. The DVC Tower at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. Maybe it'll get a better name than that. I don't know. But one of the things we really haven't had is some kind of a window as to when this might be open. Until now, there was a release of upcoming parks and experiences, openings, and events. And it did list, again, the cabins for July 1st. And it says Tiana's Bayou Adventure 2024, so they didn't have the summer listed there yet. And it's listing this as opening in late 2024, which of course means anytime between now and December 31st at 11:59 p.m. So I want to ask you, Reed, again, as someone who has to travel down and visit, are either of these things that you would put on your bucket list of places you want to stay?
No, probably not. No, I don't know. I really don't think they would. I've never been into the whole DVC thing, and maybe it's just because we are so far away, and it's just the expense to get down there is enough. So, yeah, I don't have much to say with DVC stuff.
So Pop Century it is. Shannon?
That big time, or the All Stars.
I think the wilderness cabins are giving tiny house vibes, and I don't like it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Um, I'm still disappointed in that Poly Tower because I think although the size is bothersome to me, I think they could have nailed it if they tried to mirror Aulani, like the beauty that is Aulani. That's not going to happen. But anyway,
What are you talking about? It
I
looks
don't have
just
skin in
like
the game.
Alani. It looks just like it. I think you just
No,
don't
it
They
doesn't.
even
understand.
consulted Joe Rody.
Yeah, it looks just
No.
like it. I have no idea what you're talking about there. No, I get it. Some of the other things again in that list are that it says June 6th as Fantasy Springs, which is in Tokyo. Disney Lookout Point opens in June of 2024. The Wilderness Cabins July 1st, and December 21st, the Disney Treasures Maiden Voyage. Everything else is 2024, including the Epcot Communicore Hall and Plaza, which we will talk about a little bit later. Again, no time frame has been assigned to that, strangely. So let's move on to some other news. The 1900 Park Fair is returning. That was one of those things where we were like, okay, COVID's over. Everything's back. And then they would announce 5 more things that were returning. We're like, oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. Now everything's back. And they're like, here's a couple more. And it's just every time I was just like, okay, cool. More things are coming back. That has to be everything. And then when we started talking about, character dining, it was like, okay, 1900 Park Fair is still not open. I heard some rumor, and I'm not going to say it was told to me by a cast member, that maybe they had some mold problems, and so
Oof.
that's why they hadn't opened it up until now. But the good news is that the after 4 years of closure, 1900 Park Fair is going to be returning at the Grand Floridian. But Mirabelle and Tiana, in her new outfit that everyone here seems to love so much,
So pissed.
is going to be part of the character dining experience here. Whereas, it feels like, and our friend Stephanie is a friend of Mary Poppins, and immediately when this came up, she messaged me and was like, "Justice for Mary. Why is Mary Poppins not here? It's the freaking Grand Floridian. It should be Mary Poppins." So I'm gonna start Desi
Did
with
they
you.
take her off the list?
I don't think she is. I don't think she's there. But we do know Mirabelle and Tiana are there. So you taking your boys?
They don't care about either one of those movies. No, that's not true. They like Bruno. They don't like Mirabelle. Um, I don't know. Maybe if I'm going to take them to a character breakfast on the resort loop, it's going to be at Ohana because Lilo and Stitch is their favorite. So that's where I would take them. I still have not even ever been to Chef Mickey's. So, I mean, I'm probably not going to 1900 Park Fair. I used to love it. It used to be one of my go-tos, but just for the sake of my kids, they're not super into Mirabelle or Tiana.
How have you not been to Chef Mickey's? Isn't that kind of like, if they don't give you an annual pass until you check all these boxes, and one of them has to be
Yeah.
you've been to Chef Mickey's? I don't know, Shannon.
Never. Not even when I
Uh,
was a kid.
what do you got, Shannon?
Yeah, I mean, what in the heck who made this decision, honestly? Because if you want to put Mirabelle and Tiana in there, then just retheme the restaurant. It makes no sense. One has nothing to do with the other. And why does she still have her pantsuit? Can we put her back in one of her dresses? It's, what? She's now adventuring back in the early 1900s. I,
Well,
I have no words. I'm so angry.
this isn't what people think of when they think of seeing Tiana at a fancy restaurant like 1900 Park Fair.
Gosh.
I went once, and I mentioned this pre-show with our team here, as I went once with my son, and we did a villain's dinner, which was maybe one of the coolest character meals that we've ever done. And so you walked in, and the Queen of Hearts was in the lobby, and then they had Prince John and Governor Ratliff and Captain Hook walking around. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it seems like a weird pull to pull these characters because, again, Grand Floridian seems like it's having an identity crisis. It's something that used to be like Alice in Wonderland Tea Party and Mary Poppins, but then they made the Alice in Wonderland Splash Park, but then they made the Beauty and the Beast restaurant. I mean, bar, and then and then now you're gonna have Mirabelle and Tiana hanging out. I don't know. It
None of
seems a
that
little
says
bit strange.
Florida.
Yeah, and quite honestly, to your point about the pantsuit, Shannon, like they could do a whole princess thing, and because the Grand Floridian's a little bit more upscale, another princess dining location, that would
Right.
make a little bit more sense to me than this one, this adventure breakfast or whatever it is that they're doing. Honestly, I think there are a lot of other places they could have done this, and so it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure it'll book up. So those reservations are opening soon. Let's talk about this. We talked about it a little bit before, the water park swap. Now, we were trying to explain this to Chris before this this show, that since COVID, both Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach have not existed in the same place. And I've done a Highlander reference here at the bottom. There can be only one, which no one on this, like who's watching, will get Highlander reference. But it's like if one of them is open, then the other one is closed. And so we're about to see that happen again, where Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon will switch places on St. Patrick's Day. So if you were looking to get in, then you better get your Blizzard Beach on now, because Typhoon Lagoon's coming back. We were just talking about capacity, so I don't understand. Like, Shannon, do you think it's because people just don't care about it? I mean, it's not just the cold weather thing either. It's been consistent since COVID.
Now, this has always boggled my mind, because growing up, I never liked water parks. I live very close to a Six Flags Great Adventure that has, like, I think it's called Hurricane Harbor. Never cared for that or any other theme park. But these are Disney water parks. They're amazing. They're so well themed. They are super fun for any age. I enjoyed them as a kid, and I continue to enjoy those water parks as an adult. So I don't know if it's just a change in interest with visitors, or if Volcano Bay has had any influence, which maybe that could be telling for Epic Universe, right? Like, people think that Epic Universe is not a threat. Well, why are we all of a sudden operating one water park at a time? And to be honest, I went to Typhoon Lagoon last summer, middle of July, so a very hot day. I did rope drop, but it wasn't packed to the brim, considering Blizzard Beach was closed. So,
I mean, part of that could be we're training people that there's only going to be one open at a time. There was a brief moment before we were joking about River Country, before they closed down River Country, where there were three. There were three water parks at the same time, and then they closed down River Country, Disney's version of an old-fashioned swimming hole, which I have to say, it's one sentence for me. Reed, when you go, do you go to the parks? Because again, like I said, I don't think you were aware of this like little swap adventure.
No, I mean, I know that like seasonally, like one would shut for a couple months, then the other one would shut for a couple months, but then they'd both be open together. Yeah, every time we go down, we book one water park. So we'll go to Typhoon on one trip and then Blizzard on the other. I'm surprised, but at the same time, not super surprised, because I too have been in a summer where the parks are busy, like the theme parks are busy, but the water parks just aren't. I remember the last time we were there was at Typhoon Lagoon. And we got on everything, I think, in the morning, every slide that we wanted to go on, because the capacity it wasn't there. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, would they ever consider would a retheme or something work for Typhoon Lagoon or something to attract more people? Because the slides, I think, in both parks are great. I think the experience is fun. It's strange that the capacity is lower.
Well, we would have to theme it after something with Pixar. That's just the rule. So we'll call it Wall-E's Water Park, maybe? I don't know. Typhoon Lagoon.
I would be in favor.
Yeah, maybe make it that way. I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's been strange since it opened that only one of them has existed. And so looking at the other four parks, the main four theme parks, and how bursting at the seams they are, you would think that they would try to run some deals like they used to back in the day, where you get the water parks and more, and maybe you go off to the wide world of sports, and maybe you go to Disney Springs and do something, just kind of spread people out a little bit like they used to do. There's 2 miniature golf courses. Promote those more, get people out to those, get people out to the water parks, and spread out where you already have facilities. That seems like that would make more sense. Speaking of facilities,
Rob, I think you were on to something though with the Wall-E and the water park. I mean, that takes Lazy River to a whole new level, right? Like, we're just floating our overweight selves down the like, I can see it happening. Disney's going to probably pay you in the future. It's a great idea.
just a tribute to the gluttonous society we've become, the lazy society. It's just, we'll have like little things that feed you as you're going down, so you don't even have to get out of your little lazy river raft. I think it's funny how the lazy rivers there, though, have the tunnels you go through where they will splash you with cold water, so you actually can't get but so lazy in those things. I assume those are like the rumble strips to keep you awake at least at some point, so that you don't stay all day in there. Anyway, we're moving on to talk about this place. There was this strange building they were building at Grand Avenue, and now it's called Ice Cold Hydraulics, which I don't know. I'm not sure I get the bit. Does anybody here get the bit why you would call it Ice Cold Hydraulics? But it's a new booth that is being opened, where there used to be just like a little popcorn stand right there at the entrance to Grand Avenue. It's been walled up forever. It was kind of a mystery area, and now they've even released a menu for it. And this food, I'm gonna say, if the food actually tastes good, this is kind of neat. These sticky buns and these churros. Although I'm sure that this may be something, Desi, you might not want, the churros with what looks like like the bacon on top of it. That may not be your type of thing.
Not my thing.
Yeah.
The cinnamon rolls look delicious, though. I would eat those all day.
And then they also have their bourbon candied bacon, sriracha aioli, and scallions. Just how you like your churros. Reed, did you look at this menu at all? Is there anything on here that you go, oh, that's good? I mean, I know that you said you'd rather not talk about this, but I assume it's because the churros get you down.
The churro picture was a little bit weird. Yeah, I don't know. I get the sweet, like, with bacon like that, but I don't know. It doesn't really look appealing. Even just that picture is like, no.
But with sriracha aioli,
yeah,
what?
like that's like, I don't understand. That's a little bit too much. Honestly though, like this where we do like cinnamon buns, we'll do them fresh every like a couple weeks here in the house, and so I love a good cinnamon roll. So I'm hoping that those are good. Yeah, they're good. Sunday morning, that's a tradition here. At least in our household. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing, but.
I mean, that sounds pretty international to me, my friend. Shannon, the drinks are, they have the Fanta Blue, Raspberry, Minute Maid Lemonade, and Coke flavors, but they're also available with Jack Daniel's Whiskey, Bacardi Superior Rum, and Stoli Vodka. I mean, is this where you're coming to get your drinks? I don't know.
Yeah, what are the prices on that, Rob?
They're, I'm sure, very cheap. $1 each, just like McDonald's.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. I'm just disappointed that they didn't try to tie it into Muppets. It seems like they're just constant. It's a push and pull in that area. What's going to be themed to this Grand Avenue and what's going to be themed to Muppets. And I don't think this one is a Muppet theme unless we just don't realize it yet. But, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Let's move on to Star Wars nights, and this is one of the after dark theme nights that they're doing at Disneyland. They've announced that the Star Wars nights will start to go on sale very soon for Magic Key holders, and the nights there are more nights this year. It's April 16th, 18th, 23rd, 25th, and 30th, and then May 2nd, 7th, and 9th. So not on May the 4th.
But not May the 4th.
That seems weird to me. Doesn't that seem weird to you? No May the 4th? But it is a separate hard ticket event. We've talked about those in the past, and it's going to be at Disneyland from 6 to 9 p.m., which again seems... the pre-party mix at Disneyland from 6 to 9. Sorry. But anyway, this looks like a neat event, but more exciting than the event to me is that they have added something to the virtual queue, because don't get me wrong, I love a Disney virtual queue where I can sit at my desk for 4 to 6 hours and watch it go, to try to get Oogie Boogie tickets, to try to get D23 tickets, to try to get basically anything, because it's just so exciting. But they've got this new notify me feature where they will, when you get in there, they will email you when it's your time to get in queue. Reed, you were talking about Star Wars nights a little bit here. I got to ask you, I don't know if you've ever sat through the wonders of a Disney queue, but if you did, I'd be a little scared that, like, the email wouldn't come, or I'd like not see it soon enough. I mean, do you like this feature?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I guess it is for someone like me that comes from like Canada, you don't have like data down there. You have to be reliant on Wi-Fi, right? So you have to make sure that you're connected at your hotel or wherever you are, wherever you happen to be. So that would be a concern for myself. I mean, I think it's one of those things that if they keep trying to testing this out in time, it might work well for them. I like the concept, but I'm not sure that every guest is going to get a great experience out of it.
Yeah. And for those of you, again, who are interested, the tickets go on sale February 20th. And I love this verbiage that Disneyland uses: no earlier than 9 a.m. On in Pacific time. So no earlier. And the February 20th, they start for Inspire key holders. And then Thursday, February 22nd, Wednesday and Thursday for Magic key holders to purchase. And then on Friday, February 23rd, tickets go on sale to the general public. Because there are more nights, I feel like this is something where there will be more opportunity for people to get tickets to it. I don't know how these hard tickets ticketed events are doing this time. We had the Sweethearts event happen. I know that Disney is doing a Disney Channel night, and Desi's very excited to try to get to the tickets because she's convinced that Brink will make a showing. What are you thinking about all this, Desi?
I'm just jealous. Why can't we get any Star Wars nights here? The only time I have ever paid for a hard ticketed event prior to Jollywood Nights was for Star Wars Galactic Nights when they used to do those at Hollywood Studios. Why can't we have that again? Just why can't we have Star Wars weekends again? Why does Disneyland get everything? Why can't we have anything? I'm just jealous and sad. I want it here.
Why can't we have nice things? I don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, those popcorn buckets, like, that was something that whenever I see a really good one, I'm like, that's probably going to Disneyland first. Except for, as you mentioned, the Journey into Imagination, they would have had that
And
first
Mr.
had
Toad.
they. Yeah, had they had that. But oh, that's true, Mr. Toad, because it was part of the 50th anniversary, which is weird because we don't have that attraction anymore. All tracks. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about they have new buses. And when I first saw this, our headline is, well, I'll show it to you here, is that updated Walt Disney World buses debut with wheelchair and new wheelchair and ECV system. And I went immediately to this article because I think I've talked about this before, is that you go to wait in a line for, like, say, Pop Century or All Stars or something where there's going to be a lot of people waiting to get on the bus, and you've been waiting there for a while, and then you need, wheelchairs and ECVs come up, and they have to load those up separately, and it's a pain for everybody. The people who are in the wheelchairs, I my heart goes out to people who have to deal with that on a regular basis of having to, wait and all that for the wheelchairs and ECVs. I think it's one of those things where, like, it just, I don't know. But I feel like Disney needs a better system is where I'm getting with this. And when I look at, like, the bus driver gets off and then has to, go and load it, I was like, okay, cool. This is great. I don't see that there's any huge advantage to these buses over the ones that they already have. They already have a system where the ramp comes out. They already have a system where they can make sure to secure the ECV or the wheelchair. So the one thing that I thought was interesting about this, though, is, and it seems like, okay, wait, it's 2024. Why did it take them so long to do this? Is that they've got USB chargers under the seats, like, duh. Why did it take this long to do this? I mean, as much as Disney beats the heck out of us about our phones and all the things we have to do with them, I don't know why it took this long. But Shannon, let me throw it to you. What are your thoughts when you see this article?
Yeah, so I wholeheartedly agree with Rob here. And before I get started on this rant, I'm going to say that I have personally traveled with a family member who needed to use an ECV, as well as a family member who needed to use a wheelchair. And I understand that there are people who need to use these to enjoy their vacation. However, I have noticed over the years, having gone to Disney for a very long time, that more and more and more there are people needing to use ECVs. And it has become a very difficult time when you were waiting for a bus. Now you roll up to a bus stop. I mean, it used to be once in a while there'd be someone with an ECV. Now there'll be like three people. And I got excited when I saw this article because I thought, I'm like, oh, are we getting more capacity? Doesn't really look like that's the case. But it makes me wonder if Disney has considered something like, buses dedicated to ECVs and maybe like a reservation system or something, because I feel like it is a detriment to the rest of the guests. And I'm sorry if anyone takes that the wrong way. That is what I feel has been happening.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
again, I agree. I think that I was really hoping there was going to be an easier solution here. And somebody in the chat was like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's get Skyliner between Coronado and Animal Kingdom. I would love more Skyliner. I think Skyliner, when it comes especially either to people who need extra assistance or just travel in general, it seems like a much more efficient system. I know we kind of, maligned it for, well, it's cheap or, whatever the reasons we had at the beginning. It's not going to be air conditioning. I love the Skyliner. I think it's great. And so I would love there to be more of them. But the fact that they can, have a standard, like, stable cabin and have somebody, go in there with a wheelchair or with an ECV and then move on and it go right onto the track with all the rest of them, and then they can take their time and they can load and all that stuff. I love that that's a thing. So I would love there to be more Skyliners, please.
I
more
would like
Skyliners.
that for double strollers.
There you go. Right, double strollers. Sorry, I know you're still fiery about the double strollers on the Skyliner. I apologize. All right, so the last thing we want to talk about tonight is there is a new Little Mermaid show. Talk about capacity or lack thereof. The animation courtyard at Hollywood Studios has been basically a barren wasteland unless you're going to jam with Mickey at the Disney Junior Live. There, like, Star Wars Launch Bay has kind of been hit or miss. There's some, most of it's just kind of whatever back there now, and they've got 2 or 3 shops that have been closed, and the Little Mermaid attraction has been closed since COVID, and now we're seeing that there's auditions for the Little Mermaid, the new Little Mermaid show coming for puppeteers, and then also they are casting for Eric and Ariel. So really, this is for you, Reed, because I feel like this is your opportunity to really get in with Disney hard. Prince Eric is 5'10" to 6 foot. You're 6 foot?
Oh, I'm 6'4". I can't.
Oh.
Missed it by 4 inches.
I thought this was a shoe-in. I thought that because it says charismatic and fearless, Prince Eric is a true romantic who never gives up on his heart's desire, and it's a non-singing role. So, I mean...
Well, I like that part. I like the non-singing part. I mean, I'm all over that.
Just start slouching, man. You could get in there. For Ariel, they're looking for somebody who's 5'2", 5'6", a spirited, fun-loving, yet curious mermaid
and
princess.
I'm too short for Ariel.
Who longs to be a part of the human world. Oh, wait, Shannon, 5'2" to 5'6"?
I fit in that range. I don't think I have the voice that they need. I'm like the anti-Little Mermaid.
I'm sure it's fine. Desi, I think you and I have talked about this a little bit, that with your kids, they look at this and go like, wait, what is that thing and why can't I go?
Yeah, they have asked so many times to go, and I'm like, it wasn't even open when you were born. So I don't know why it's been closed literally your entire life. But yeah, they keep asking about it just because it's there and they see it. I don't know if they think it's the same ride as the one at Magic Kingdom, because they're like, let's do this. Let's do the mermaid. And I'm like, no, you can't. And why are you so excited about a show that you've never even seen before because it's been closed literally your entire life? Yeah.
Well, and people are asking in the chat if it would be based on the live action or the animated. It looks like based on this artwork that it's going to be the animated. So the same thing that was in there before. And again, this is one of those that I've heard rumor that there might have been a mold issue because there was like they'd spray you during the course of the show, like, I don't know, 80 times just to make sure you were good and damp for the show. And it was a neat effect at first, and then they had the laser effects and all that, but it's just a lot of water indoors for many, many, many decades. And so I think that it was probably time that they do something else. But I think it was always a pretty pretty exciting show for especially huge fans of Disney's Little Mermaid to see. So I'm glad that there's something coming back. But again, for me, it's about get more capacity in these parks. This is an easy way to do it. You've got an empty building that is already themed on the outside for Little Mermaid, themed on the inside. Clean it up, put in a new show, and then get going. I liked the old show, but I'm looking forward to seeing something new. Again, we don't really have a date on this one other than maybe sometime in 2024. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate every single one of you for joining us for ParksCenter on Sunday nights. We took a week off last week, but we're full steam ahead. So please make sure to join us next Sunday night at 9 p.m. for another edition of ParksCenter. Before we go, a couple of notes. One is that coming up on Deep in the Plus, this past Wednesday, Tom Corliss was my Valentine. And we shared the night together, and we did behind the attraction with pirates. So check that one out. And then this coming Wednesday is going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark. Desi's going to be with me for that one. The following week is going to be the original That Darn Cat with my friends from Hawaii, Maleko and Lauren, and probably their cat. And then on March 6th is the 4-year anniversary of Onward, which we did during WDWNT Live. We did a watch along with that one. But Patrick and I are going to come and talk about it because it is a movie that means a lot to him. So we'll be talking about that on March 6th. So hopefully you'll join us for that. Also, I want to give a shout out to our WIGS members, the WDWNT Interglobe Society. Thank you guys for being part of the family. And if you want to learn more about the WIGS program, go to patreon.com/WDWNT. If you're a WIGS member and you may have a post show after this, so please hang on. Come join us for the post show. Everyone else, have a great week. Thank you again for being with us, and we'll see you next time.
Bum, 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 bum.
Get it?
One singing?
Yeah. Well, you nailed it, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously, it was next level.
She sings, she dances, she can do it all.